how to sound more conversational in delivering material?
That's a great question because, and one thing I emphasize with people in my workshops is like comedy is a conversation, right? And so we forget that comedy is a conversation. It's mostly one-sided, but when you're talking, you see your audience doing a lot of this. They acknowledge they heard or processed the setup. And that's where your timing comes from, is listening to them, making sure they're listening to you. They heard what you had to say. They kind of responded with a little, oh yeah, okay, I saw that. And then you punch the punchline with it or whatever. But that is a conversation. One way to do it is to trick yourself. Like Johnny Carson used to do this. Oh, did you guys see this? I read this in the paper in Minnesota. It's a conversation now. Ask questions. You guys see this? Jay Leno, hey, maybe did you notice this in the news today? That sort of thing, right? And so Jimmy Fallon does the same thing. So you're actually forcing yourself. Oh shit! Before I forget, I got to tell you guys. These are little kind of things to make sure you kind of trick your brain. And because we've got this image ever since we were little of what a performance is. And so when we take that stage, that's still with us, rather than getting up there and going, holy shit, I haven't seen you guys in a while. You never met them in your life, They're going to laugh at that idea. But that's why at corporates, I'll always go sit down at the first table that's, downstage left and have the dinner with them or whatever. And then ask them their names and play a little name game with them and talk to them about, their time at the company. So that way, when I'm up on stage, I can always go to my friends and call them by name. And the audience thinks, oh, he knows these people. Oh, he's one of us right away. So they feel engaged with you. And that's a great question, because we talk about this, with how people love this community. Comedy clubs, that's why people come to the shows. They don't know it, because they love that, to feel that sense of community. The moment you bring them in and give them a purpose that's part of the show, magic. That could make the difference of the entire show. Taylor Tomlinson does this thing, which I saw her on one of her last special, I think it was, and it was brilliant. She comes in, the audience is cheering in her intro, and she's touched by the level of enthusiasm from this audience. And she goes, and you could actually hear them, they pick it up. And she goes, boy, I can't wait till my ex sees this. That line right there said, you're on my side. We're going to prove it to that asshole. And they're like, yeah, we got you. We got your back. We're going to prove it to him too. So you've now working their superior. They feel that superiority, we're going to get him.
Yeah.
And they're right on board with you. And she just, in that little line, brought them right into this community. It is a conversation right now.
Yeah, it's interesting. So you may have a one-liner that's very rigid and structured, but it's like, have a little runway into that one-liner to make it a little more conversational. So instead of having a setup punch about your wife, it's just kind of like, so I've been married for 3 years and here's the setup punch about my wife. Almost just a little runway up to the punchline can make it more conversational.
And this is a great time to use crowd work organically, right? So if I said, I've been married to my wife for about 15 years. How many people married? You married? You married? Yeah. What's your name? Bill. Okay, Bill. How long you been married? 6 years. One more and it's over, right? And then now you're building in jokes to the conversation, because 7-year itch. And then you say, but every name you have and information you have from that person, how long you've been married? Oh, 15 years. Hey, you and I were on the same page, right? Miserable. So we say, and I'll get a female's perspective, because it's always good to have the female perspective, because I'm a man. I love to look at, that's why I bought Cosmo. I subscribed to Cosmo when I was in high school, because I wanted the other team's playbook. I wanted to hear that other point of view that I'm not privy to. So that opens. So it's like when in the classroom or on stage, when I include a female, I hear her perspective, and I'll ask them, and now each one of those gives me a joke opportunity. On top of that, now I have fodder to call back to. right?
Gotcha.
Okay, you have any kids? Yeah, 3 kids. So I'll go through and somebody else has, how many kids you got? Three. Oh, well, we should talk to Tim over here. He's got 3 kids. You guys should get together and you'll be the Brady Bunch, right? And then next thing you know, everybody's laughing because you're making this shit up as you go and being crass about it sometimes just for frivolous. And now you can go into your material, So I've been married 15 years. Let me tell you now the one-liner or 1 and 2-liner that comes with that.
Right.
And you build off of that. But now you have a conversation. Sometimes the crowd work can be so minimal. One of my students, she did a set, got a great response. And she did the set again another night, and she goes, it didn't go as well. I did the exact same set. I said, I bet you didn't do the exact same set. And she goes, I bet you I did. I said, okay, what's the bet? Coffee. Good. All right. So I said, bring in the videos. Do you have them? She goes, yeah. She brings them in. So she did virtually the same set, the same material. But in that first set that got the big response, she goes, hi, y'all. That's how she opens. And it's in LA. So people are a little, oh, wait, y'all. Oh, that's quirky. Giggle, giggle. Right? Just a little giggle. And this one guy kind of made a snort or something. And she goes, I love the way you laugh, with this big smile. And that made them laugh more. Community. Immediately, community. She says, oh my God, I love the way you laugh. I'm taking you with me on the road.
Community.
Where you just brought them right in, man. And then I said, that's what got them. You had a conversation. You were not in your head reciting material. It doesn't take a lot. It just takes a little bit of not afraid to look at them in the eyes and engage with them.
I love it. Hot breath.